Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a term that you've probably heard buzzing around a lot lately, from the boardroom to your favorite tech blog, hyperautomation. So, what on earth is it? And, why should you even care? Let's get into it. Right off the bat, we're starting with a pretty heavy statement from Gartner, the research firm that actually coined this term back in 2019. They're not saying it's a nice to have. They're saying it's becoming a condition of survival. Whoa. That tells you straight away this is not just some fleeting buzzword. This is a fundamental shift in how business gets done.
So what are we really talking about here? I mean, most of us have a handle on basic automation, right? You think of a bot that does one simple, repetitive thing over and over. But hyperautomation, well, that's a whole different ballgame. It's a transformation on a completely different scale.
Yeah, we're seeing this massive evolution happen right before our eyes. The focus is no longer just on automating one tiny, isolated task. Think about it less like a single robot on an assembly line and more like automating and orchestrating the entire factory floor, from the moment raw materials come in to the second the final product ships out. It's the whole shebang. Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, let's get a solid definition on the table. It's time to cut through the jargon and see what's really under the hood. Now I know, that's a bit of a mouthful, but listen to the key phrases here. Business-driven and disciplined approach. That right there tells you this isn't about just throwing some cool new tech at a problem and hoping for the best. Nope, it's a deliberate, thoughtful strategy for finding and automating processes across the entire organization, not just in one little corner. So you might be asking, wait, isn't this just robotic process automation, or RPA? And that's a great question, but there's a huge distinction. RPA is all about the individual task, like a single bot copying and pasting data. Hyperautomation, on the other hand, is about the entire business process. It's the conductor of an orchestra of different tools and workflows. The ultimate goal isn't just to do a repetitive task. It's to automate the very process of finding and building new automations. Kind of meta, right? So what's actually powering this massive shift? Let's pop the hood and take a look inside the digital toolkit. Or, think of it more like a recipe that makes all of this hyperautomation magic possible. You can really think of it as a four-step recipe. First, you discover. You use smart tools like process mining to automatically find the bottlenecks and inefficiencies in your business. Second, you automate. That's where you bring in things like RPA to handle all that grunt work. Third, and this is where it gets really cool, you enhance it with AI and machine learning so the system can start making intelligent decisions on its own. And finally, you orchestrate the whole thing, managing the entire workflow from beginning to end, almost like a digital conductor for this entire high-tech orchestra. And these are the core ingredients in that recipe. See, it's not just one technology. It's this powerful combination. You've got AI for the brains and RPA for the hands. You add in natural language processing so it can understand emails and chats, and optical character recognition, or OCR, so it can read invoices and forms. Then you mix in things like low-code platforms that let pretty much anyone in the company build their own automations. It's this whole cocktail of technologies working together that gives hyperautomation its incredible power. Okay, enough with the theory. How is this stuff actually being used today to get real results? Let's check out some pretty fascinating real-world examples. First up, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Just try to imagine the challenge here. They were absolutely buried under a mountain of claims, and everything was being processed by hand. It was incredibly slow, super expensive, and of course, prone to human error. So what was the impact of bringing in intelligent automation? Get this, a 90% reduction in the time it took to process a claim. 90%. That is just a staggering leap forward, not just in speed, but in accuracy too. All right, next up, Chipotle. Now, think for a second about how complex their business is. They're managing this incredibly demanding supply chain for fresh ingredients every single day, while also juggling a massive volume of online orders and deliveries. It's a logistical nightmare. So what did they do? They automated the process of reconciling every single online transaction with all their delivery partners. And the result? We're talking millions of dollars saved every single year. That's a huge win for their bottom line. For our final example, let's take a look at ICICI Bank. They are a fantastic case study because they really show the incredible breadth of what's possible when you adopt a full-on hyper-automation strategy. And just look at the sheer variety here. It's amazing. ICICI Bank is using actual physical robotic arms to sort cash. They're using voice assistants for transactions. They have a robotic system for accessing bank lockers, and even an AI-powered coach that gives customers investment advice. This is a true multi-front strategy, and it's improving everything from their back office efficiency to the actual customer experience.
So after seeing those examples, it's pretty clear this is way more than just a simple upgrade. Let's pull the camera back for a second and look at the big picture of why this really does change everything. Of course, a transformation this big doesn't just happen overnight. There's a trade-off. The benefits, as you can see, are massive. We're talking incredible efficiencies, speed, accuracy, and huge cost savings. But the challenges are very real too. This stuff requires serious planning, significant investment, and really careful change management to make sure you bring your entire team along for the ride. And this right here brings us to what might be the most crucial point of all, and it's a big one. The real goal of hyperautomation, it's not to replace people, it's to augment them. It's all about freeing us up from the boring, repetitive, low-value work so we can focus on the things that humans do best: creativity, critical thinking, strategy, and innovation. And that brings us to our final thought. I just want to leave you with this question to chew on. If all the most repetitive, mundane parts of your job were suddenly automated, what would you finally have the time to create? What amazing new thing would you build? Thanks so much for watching.